What up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. I'm back with another video, and you guys see the title. Trucking isn't for everybody, but it can change your life. Now, when I say trucking is a very broad term. There are a lot of different aspects of trucking, a lot of different things that you can do that fall under the trucking umbrella. It's not just people out here driving big semi-tractor trailer truck. Box truck, for example, is an aspect of trucking. That's another form of trucking that you can do. And it's very trendy right now. A lot of people want to get into the box truck game, become owner operators, and run that lane. And that's great. There are a lot of people out there that are having success at doing that. And so that's just an option. You can also obviously go the route that I went, getting your CDL license, driving a semi-tractor trailer, working for a particular company out there, whoever it may be, and going that way. Either way you go in this trucking space, there are a lot of opportunities out there. All right. And the good thing about the truck profession, it's a very low barrier to entry. So it doesn't take a lot of certifications or degrees or anything like that. You obviously just have to go get your CDL license, get the proper training, and you're off to the races. You can come into this trucking game and not have to end up being in a bunch of debt like you would if you was chose a career the way you had to go to college for. When you look at the tuition and the cost of getting your CDL license, it's usually somewhere around a few $1,000s, $3,000 to maybe $7,000, give or take, is what it's gonna cost you to get your CDL license. Now, if you're really proactive, you probably can even get your CDL license for free if you're self-taught and do it yourself. You maybe know somebody that has a truck, probably can train you on the side or something like that. I've heard people on YouTube that have gotten their license and they were pretty much just self-taught. So it's different ways you can go about it to where you don't necessarily have to come out of pocket and really pay tons of money to get your CDL license. You just have to do your research and find out different ways to do that. I personally think it's a great investment. When I got my CDL license 4 years ago, I paid out of pocket almost $7,000. But I've made that money back many times over at this point. And so I don't have a ton of student loan debt or anything like that to pay back. And so it's a great profession to get in for the people who may be undecided, may not necessarily know what you want to do with your life right now. You may be at a job where you're not making very much money and you want to try something different. I've even had some medical professionals comment on some of my videos that were in the nursing field, for example, and came to be a truck driver, believe it or not. So there are people that come into this trucking space that have those careers where you wouldn't think that they would even entertain doing something like becoming a truck driver or just getting into this truck space. So it's a lot of opportunities out here. You just got to figure out what lane, what you want to do in this trucker space. I mentioned box truck is one. What I do is another option, becoming a food service delivery driver. There are a ton of different things you could do in this trucker space. You could become an LTL driver, work for a company like Estes or, FedEx. I made a video a few days ago. I was talking about chemical tanker. And so, man, it's just a ton of different things that you can do in this trucking space that you can be successful at doing, and you can change your lifestyle. Being in trucking, it definitely changed my financial situation. It put me in a much better place financially than I was prior to getting into trucking. So I'm thankful to be in this position, and it's only up from here. And listen, you don't necessarily have to have a passion for trucking. You can use trucking, stay in trucking as long as you like. Just have a plan. I think that's why most people fail, because they don't have a plan in place. And so they're kind of just going day by day all over the place. Or some people get in, they may have a certain expectation, and then they find out it's not what they thought it would be, and they end up failing. But honestly, it's not anything wrong with failing, because failing is a part of the process, as long as you're learning from your failures and knowing what not to do. All right, you have to learn from your mistakes, and you can't repeat them over and over and over if you want to eventually reach success. You have to learn from your mistakes, pivot, understand what not to do, and then do what you're supposed to do. That's how you have success in this business. Again, there are so many different things you could do in trucking. You can look on YouTube and you can find a million different things you can do in this trucking space. It doesn't necessarily have to be you driving a big tractor trailer. All right. Even in the box truck space, if the vehicle is less than 26,000 pounds, you don't even need a CDL to operate it. And there are a lot of people that's in that space that have found success, that are operating a successful business, and they're making it happen. And that's what it's all about. Even when you look at something like becoming an owner operator, we know times are hard right now. The economy isn't the best right now, but you could become an owner operator if your passion is to really be in the trucking, but maybe you don't want to necessarily operate a truck. You have successful owner operators that have their own fleet of trucks that don't even have a CDL license. So a CDL license is not necessarily required for you to become an owner operator. With that said, I think personally it's a good idea to have your CDLs, but it's not a requirement. When you look at people like Alex Good Energy, for example, Alex Burton. If you guys don't know who that is, you can Google him. You can check him out on YouTube or Instagram. Alex Good Energy. He's the CEO of a trucking company that he runs, that he operates. He has a fleet of trucks. If I'm not mistaken, he has 12 trucks. He may have more at this point, but he runs a successful trucking business and he doesn't have a CDL license. So again, that's proof that you can have success in this business in whatever aspect of trucking that you get into. If you have a plan and you're following that plan, you're executing, you have the knowledge, and you know what to do, you can have success. Getting the knowledge is key though. A lot of people don't have the knowledge to do certain things and they end up failing, and they come back and say, well, this doesn't work. It's not that it didn't work. It's probably because you either didn't have the right plan or you didn't have the necessary knowledge or know-how to execute properly to make that plan successful. So you gotta have the knowledge. The knowledge is key. And you can go on YouTube, you can read books. There are a lot of different ways to get the knowledge that you need. People have courses out there. But when it comes to buying courses, you gotta be careful. Just make sure that you buying courses from legitimate people. Make sure you vet the individuals who you plan on buying courses from, because a lot of people are just putting out information just to grab a bag. All right, so you got to be careful when it comes to the courses. But I do think that getting the knowledge is imperative to have success at any business, for that matter, not just in trucking, but for any business. You got to get the knowledge, and you have to apply the knowledge to whatever business that you plan on going into. All right, it's very key to having success in that business. Now, again, I think the trucking space is very fruitful. There's a lot of opportunities out here, regardless of what you want to get into. Something else that could deter you or discourage you from following your dreams is listening to people who may not even have done what they're telling you shouldn't do. You may be on a certain YouTube channel where you're trying to learn about a certain job, you're trying to get the knowledge, and you scroll down and you look into the comment section and you see all these negative comments about this certain job. Well, you gotta take what you read and hear with a grain of salt, especially what you read in the comment section, because you gotta understand that a lot of times these people come in the comment section, they'll tell you how you shouldn't do something that they've never done themselves, or they'll tell you that you shouldn't work for this company or you shouldn't do this particular job because maybe they failed at that job. They had a bad experience. So now any chance they get to say something negative about that job, they put it in the comments. Again, it's very important that you do your own due diligence when it comes to whatever job that you plan on doing, whatever trucking lane that you plan on getting into. Do your research, do your due diligence, and don't be discouraged by negative people. All right, don't let them trick you out of following your dreams or following a passion, something that you really want to do. Sometimes it's best to just keep information to yourself and not necessarily tell people about it. That goes with even telling friends and family, because a lot of times people can't see your vision, and people may have failed at what you're trying to go after. And because of their failures, they'll put that on you and make you feel like you can't accomplish the goal that you want to accomplish, or you can't obtain those things that you want to obtain because maybe they failed at it, right? And so sometimes you got to keep those things to yourself and not tell certain people, because people can really discourage you from really going after what you want to go after in life and accomplishing those goals. You got to understand that most people that become successful in life, they become successful because they get out of their comfort zone, because success is really on the other side of fear. Most people become successful because they do things out of just not knowing, and they do things that most people would consider to be a very big risk. Everything is risky in life, all right? It's risky to start a business. It's risky to get married. It's risky to have kids. It's risky to invest. There's risk involved in everything. But with risk comes very big rewards, all right? If you can withstand the adversity, if you can withstand the lessons that sometimes occur when you try to go after big goals, sometimes you have setbacks. But if you keep going, if you keep having that work ethic, if you keep pushing, if you stay consistent, if you understand that certain things are just a part of the process, I want you guys to understand that trucking can change your life. As long as you have a plan, you know what you want to do, you have the knowledge, you apply the knowledge, you could become successful in this trucking space, all right? Just because it didn't work for somebody else doesn't mean it can't work for you. If you're somebody who wants to become an over-the-road truck driver, then you have to understand that that's a very unique lifestyle. You have to understand that you're going to be living out of a truck most of the time. You're not going to have very much home time. You're going to be on the road constantly. And in order for you to make as much money as possible, you got to have the wheels turning. You got to understand and you got to know that you're going to be sleeping at truck stops. You may be pushing the clock to where you may have to sit on the shoulder of a highway all night because you're running out of hours and you gotta shut the truck down somewhere, all right? All of these type of things is what you have to know before you get into that particular space, all right? Make sure you understand what you're getting yourselves into so you're not surprised when you get into this space and it's not what you expected. That doesn't mean that you can't have success driving over the road. There are a lot of people that are over the road drivers that's been doing it for a very long time. Trucking isn't for everybody, but it can change your life. That's what I want you guys to understand. The big takeaway I want you guys to get from this though is not being discouraged by negative people, because negative people can stop you from being great if you let them. Don't let anybody plant a negative seed in your mind that can potentially prevent you from going after your goals, going after your dreams and aspirations. Don't do it. You may run into some hurdles or some obstacles that may slow you down, but that doesn't mean that you have to give up. You got to keep going. Keep going through the adversity. Eventually, you'll make it. You got to stay positive. Got to have the right mindset. And it's also helpful if you're around like-minded individuals, positive people that think like you do in terms of having a positive mindset. That's always helpful, because if you're around a lot of negative people or a lot of broke people, chances are you're probably going to end up being just like them if you hang around them long enough. All right? So surround yourself around the right people and go after whatever it is that you want to go after. This trucking space can be a very lucrative space for you if you have the information, if you apply what you learn, and you don't give up. All right? Listen, guys, that's all I got for you today. Remember, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, like this video, drop a comment. Until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next one.